So there's two things I'm trying to establish here. Um, just getting used to this sort of videography. Um, I I bought some equipment today, and some of it came out broken, and then I couldn't even fucking find the receipt. So anyway, but I just basically just kept it in this. I try to look for ways to keep it kind of stable, so I'm doing that. So in establishing this kind of new form of videography, there are additional form actually. I went through my list and I just try to, I don't know, I'm trying to like almost rebrand it, try to re-market the thing if, for those who it comes across it, if they ever do, I don't know. And something that I didn't really kind of talk about in terms of like I've been doing this thing uh, with focusing without realizing kind of a lot of various of recent topics have kind of revolved around this idea of an amateur porn star or amateur model versus a porn star, and sort of differentiating those things and establishing these things are a bit arbitrary. They're interchangeable, how they're socially used. But in like establishments like the website I use, Pornhub, there is a distinction in terms of who is coming on the site, specifically in terms of just it's models coming at direct contact with the website. So there is an understanding from the company's perspective that there is a group that are established porn stars, and then you have people coming in. Usually, if they got their own thing going on outside of Pornhub, that's one thing. But like they're going into, they're essentially going into the website with their own. This is how this is how they're establishing their hobby or career as I don't know, sex video people, photo people, I don't know, models for the damn website, Jesus. Um, and I didn't, as a way to, I guess, as a conclusion angle, I wanted to kind of talk about one of let's talk about the one on top of that list. So establishing that yes, there is, at least from the company's point of view, there is a difference when it comes to porn stars versus models. So porn stars, my not that they didn't establish themselves through places like Pornhub, but either they've transcended with getting enough attention, specifically from big companies like Pornhub, where they kind of put them, they kind of either they did their own sort of they kind of put them on the map through various ways. Maybe they went ahead. Um, I can't think of this word. Jesus. Why do I keep thinking produce? Jesus. Um, Prompt them up. What's another word for prompt them up? Uh, Through advertise. Maybe they advertise them at some point. I brought names that sort of transcended from their independence, and then they are considered porn stars. So, yeah, there was a little bit of confusion. Not necessarily. I understood that there is a difference from the Pornhub's point of view, which is why I really wasn't. I was using places like Pornhub, mostly focusing on these individuals to kind of make and lay out a much more stronger point, which I'm sure is lost at this moment. But we're gonna get back anyway. So in doing these videos, I didn't really, while I am focusing on various figures specifically to Pornhub, or at least incidentally, I didn't really talk about individuals as they are kind of a core representative of at least the current ranking of Pornhub. Um, so this figure that I've seen this person before. I think mostly through their second um, channel, which is like Moon Fuor. I'm sure that's like anime adjacent. Yeah, so like how fitting that the number one model of the website. And to me, if you're the number one, I mean, it's one thing for you to be the number one porn star. I mean, I think that's all great because they have two different categories. So there is a number one porn star, and then there's a number one model, and then it goes from there. So they have a porn star rank, and then they have a model rank. And I'm looking at the model rank. I looked at the porn star rank, and it was pretty much people that are. I'm not even entirely sure they're even active. At least the first like if we're gonna go like Olympic style of ranking, we'll go gold, silver, and bronze. So for this video, I want to focus on the gold. So at the gold spot, we got Sweetie Fox at the gold spot. And how fitting. One of the things, going through this website and interacting with it and making comments, likes, and then, enjoying myself, I started to notice there is a huge trend, and it's especially interesting. I mean, Pornhub is an international thing. Obviously, since the person I'm talking about, I think is like actually Russian. I think they speak Russian. So another gold for the how fitting that as far as the what they call the superpowers of the world that the Russian gets the top of the list. I'm kidding. Anyway, so that joke just kind of anyway. It is interesting, and again, it is so because I mentioned that she kind of as far as my noticing of trends, anime adjacent, meaning manga, meaning um, hentai, meaning anything around that sort of, I guess we'll call it animation style, collectively anime. Those do great. They do fantastic as avenues to creating content. Is donning a lot of cosplay, even story, like anything from video games to like playthroughs, video game playthroughs, video game, we'll say Jason, um, examples. So, like, if a person might want to dress up and, like, here's the thing. So, you can, if you haven't tell, I'm not, I dropped off after, like, the first season of Dragon Ball Z, which I don't even know if it even necessarily count that as like a true anime. Not necessarily because I know they have it has like it's Dragon Ball being what it is here in America, and then what it actually is internationally. It's like that. The most I've gotten out. There was a rinky dink VHS film my mom bought. That was it. I think it was like a movie called Wannabes. It was like so how fitting, it was a wrestling anime. I've seen like the first season of Dragon Ball Z. Um, I've seen maybe two episodes of Pokemon, and then the movie, the first Pokemon movie, and then I think yeah. So I watched the first season. I watched the first season of freaking what would you call it? Not Pokemon, the other one, Digimon. Digimon, the Digital Monsters. I've seen the first season, and I watched the movie. I might have seen it in theaters. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is basically my history when it comes to anime. Really, just adjacent because I know that when we talk about anime, they ain't talking about those shows really. Although I think they're committed, the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. But it's fascinating because I'm so out of the loop. Um, I don't. It's great. Like when I go through, this is probably the most I've seen of anime anything. Um, I think that you know, I don't. So I don't. I'm not entirely sure why the popularity being an international thing. Again, this is a person who I think I don't know. They're from. I know they. I'm sure. I think they speak Russian. It's her and then like a boyfriend. They have two channels on this platform. They got this channel, Sweetie Fox, and they got another one I can't produce. I can't produce it, but I pronounce which I'm sure it's like some kind of anime adjacent. I've looked through both of them. It looks like I don't. So it's clear that this their main channel, Sweetie Fox. Oh my God, my camera's being weird. Hold on. Okay, Sweetie Fox. That one is effectively the first one. I think the alternative is their other channel. And going through the archives, it looks like they kind of it looks like the Sweetie Fox, their first one, just based on the quality um, change, and then but they seem to start date wise on kind of somewhere around that point. I think they start her channel kind of start off solo, and then I started seeing a dude in there. And the quality, is a huge thing. So okay, so this is one of those things where I got to reiterate from a different video, but if there's two venues of amateur, meaning the direction creator will go in, the first amateur is the professional amateur, um, the Danny Ash amateur, which is more okay. Amateur meaning it's incidental, right? They're not being represented hugely by a huge company, and Pornhub, but I just mean like they're coming from it from an independent perspective, and that essentially they treat Pornhub like a sharing site, and then that in itself is a territory like wrestling, so pro wrestling. So in this standpoint, and again, I'm a focus more on the reasoning why I think we already kind of established, but I'll go into it more. So reaching the top of the ladder, um, it's fitting that that direction, which is the professional one. So the avenue is I want to get as close as professional as possible. Now, obviously, this is incidental. I mean, if you're in this digital world at this point, like Digimon, everybody is really has access, and if you're watching something like a YouTube or you're watching porn in general, most they're just going to go with what reflects the most. Now, I'm saying that is probably she went this direction because based on the quality level up, not only in terms of the video quality, but in terms of obviously she seems to like to don the well, hold on. It seemed like she always kind of did somewhat cosplay, and it just kind of got even more further, adding in storylines to go with. It seems like they have like they're going off of established storylines or characters from anime. So I mean, it looks great. As you know, this looks great, as well as others that sort of use anime and others who generally like go for I would that look more professional. Not that they're doing it on purpose because that could be incidental, but that seems to be the direction in terms of And then as opposed to the other amateur, which maybe has probably become more the I don't know. There's a question of which one's the latter, but latter or former, the other one. The other half, the other sort of side of it, which is more of the comfortable amateur, the amateur. Someone who's either because they just can't, they don't have the means to get to that sort of tech equipment, which is of that quality, or so they kind of especially if they're kind of a career-minded sort of folks, um, they'll kind of go with they like doing it, or they especially if we focus on the ones that do really well. That's going to be a matter of it's going to be it'll come down to I can't tell you today. I'll come down to their performance overall. Okay, so now okay. So one of the things that was interesting for me, and I'm glad that there is that distinction between the porn star and the model, because when I was looking at the porn star stuff, I mean, it was like the most top people in the world. I was like, there's no way. There was no competitive edge for any model unless they've reached that. Because the people who are on the top of the top in the Pornhub section are in the billions. They're in the billions. They got the billion, but that's not only is because they upload their own stuff, but they're also coming in with a huge history. They have backing. They have they are part of so it's like you incidentally, like if you're a part of let's say you're a part of a Brazzers of video 2 or 3 or 20. You're like Riley Reid, which I think is like number 3 or 2. she will come in as these are related videos to her, and I think that definitely gets you up. And I'm glad that they made that into a thing where they separate it. I wonder how well if we were to, it would definitely be a win for the production. So it would. I mean, again, you have to consider that they're coming in with a huge history, so it's not really fair. If they were just sort of building, a plateau for themselves and the brand just through Pornhub, I wonder how they fare. But I suppose the maybe the more official avenue for porn starism is through the modeling through places like Pornhub. Like this might be the. I mean, it's not a coincidence that the biggest porn star models are well established. They Riley Reid is someone who I would love to talk about in a different video, but she came in and she was, I don't know if she was like a, you've seen her in these very professional photo sets, videos, from these big companies, and she's got her own stuff going on, and you know she is very much a celebrity. She's well known here in America, but in other places around the world. So it's like, yeah, you're coming in with a lot of backing. And for these models, they're kind of, like, I don't know if Sweetie Fox is considered, like, one thing I can definitely say about, um, um, Jesus, son of a Christ cracker, holy macro. What was her name? Shade. Fuck, oh my god. Shaden Rogue. I couldn't think of her name. I did a video and everything, and I forgot her name. Shaden Rogue. I didn't. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to make sure I got her name. Yeah, Shaden Rogue. So one thing I can say about her that I just by not of hearing about her previously, um, as I look her up more, research. Yeah. Is I can definitely say that Shaden Rogue has transcended into somewhat of a, yeah, definitely a celebrity status, especially in her folks out there, meaning her people in Germany. Someone like a Sweetie Fox. I don't know. I mean, there's two ways of thinking of it. It's like you got people like a Shaden Rogue, who has gotten attention from folks out there outside of regions like sites like Pornhub. Sweetie Fox, it could be. What I'm questioning is like if you're gold. First of all, I don't know how if this is like an arbitrary thing. I mean, obviously she'd be considered a top seller. Probably not as big as the porn stars, but definitely one of the top sellers as an incoming model. Some of these models will transcend and will become something like a porn star and will be referred to as a porn star, especially within their community. But Sweetie Fox, I mean, I think there might be that difference in. Okay, I'm gonna bring up wrestling stuff. So, here's the difference between someone like a Triple H and The Rock. So Triple H is he's a company game man, meaning that he's playing the ladder game where you're getting the views, you're getting the subscribers, you're also earning money from your fan clubs. You're kind of going through this ladder, and even though both of them are doing similar same thing, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson is also kind of doing that in the company. Dwayne Johnson has the edge because he gets a movie deal. He is now a part of a movie, or he's now a part of various commercials. A lot of Hollywood producers want to speak to him, and so he gets more of an international. I can definitely say, while Triple H, as far as ranking as a WWE, I mean, he has more championship title belts than The Rock. He has a higher position. Hell, he's still in the WWE. He's still in that business where The Rock had transcended and he became a celebrity, an international celebrity. So that's the difference. So you could have a case where Sweetie Fox is the, we'll call it the worker bee within the circuit of these tube sites. And you got someone like Shaden Rogue who has become someone like Dwayne Johnson in some kind of way, where she's kind of grafted, kind of. Um, somewhat of a celebrity status within her country, especially. Um, and so, even though people may know who Shaden Fox is, but I'm speaking out of my ass. I do not know this for sure, but maybe she's a celebrity in her own right. As I'm looking up, is to see if she got like a YouTube stuff. Who knows? Maybe she got a YouTube page. Um, I'm remember I'm using these people as just to make a kind of a point and testing out this new technology. But anyways, it's a question of avenues. So what direction you want to go in, and it looks like she might be considered more of a 70s. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I think I might have been correct. Maybe. Okay. So she's definitely doing a lot more. Wait, no, hold on. Which one is her goddamn thing? Hold on. I see two of them. One of them actually has a pretty good amount of subscribers. The other one doesn't. I think that's still kind of. Yeah, I think that kind of still called it. Maybe the one with the bigger one. I'll just go with that one. They're probably both hers since she has two channels, so it's not a stretch. She has a pretty good amount of. All right. Yeah. Does she do? Whenever she did like any interviews or something. So I want to talk about Sweetie Fox's face for a little bit. Because when I looked at her face, I kept thinking of Belle Delphine. I kept thinking of like people who are known to have I don't know what it is, like whatever that anime face is. Not that she's putting on any sort of, well, not that she, I don't know if it's, I mean, obviously it's building off of her natural look, but she has a kind of a small mouth. You kind of have I don't know, whatever anime shape it is. She very much she I can see why like people, because I was going to kind of dive in more and speculation of whether or not her status as a big deal has something to do. I mean, obviously it has something to do with her face, but I don't know. She definitely. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. She definitely has a face that definitely fits within the anime stuff from what I've seen of anime. She definitely looks like that. I mean, her face does have that sort of. Well, I mean, I literally looking at her profile, and I was like, "Sarah, no, it's a person." She kind of looked like an anime. I was like, "Is that a real person?" Did she superimpose like something on her face to make her look more anime? I know that there's a lot of there were people who that had the face that kind of had that sort of I guess structure, and they really kind of cake some some cosplay look for them, and so they can look like every other anime person. She seems to primarily I think solely kind of it's either like her in these solo videos or she got her boyfriend in there. She does really well in this. So as a kind of a circuit player, she's hit the top of the mountain. She is the gold piece of the adult industry. So I don't know how wibbly wobbly the ranking score is. Like I don't know. Like if you're number one on this plateau, like is she number one? I mean, I think she is. She's been consistently number one. I hold on. Right. Yeah, it seems like all right. So she's just there. So she's maintaining that spot. Um, I was really, I was. Here's why I thought this was gonna go. By looking at her ranking, though, I thought this was gonna go in the direction of like, okay, so she's obviously a big deal, in this circuit. I, and I was gonna make the argument that like, unlike something like the Olympics, where if you're number two, it's there is a literal like phenomenon of people who get second place who are not. But again, like, was she aiming to be? Because like the difference between something like the Olympics and something like this is, she's dying the anime stuff, for and it whether it's on purpose or not, she might just be. I mean, I'm sure she's great. Like she's like super fan. Like I'm going through her videography and it's like there's a various like different characters and stuff like that, and generally just like hell, not even just anime stuff, but that just seems to be a part of her brand mostly. But what I was gonna say is that as far as the ranking and in terms of whether or not someone is trying to get top or not. I mean, they might. It might. I mean, they all must be happy-go-lucky bronze. So if, golden is like you went for gold, you got gold. Second place is you definitely wanted gold, but you lost. So a lot of people who get second place in the Olympics, they literally have like they have this thing where it's like the silver medalist face where they're just it is a question of what could have done. They were just one step away from being first, and what so they feel like they lost. They don't feel like they won anything because they wanted to get that spurt. And the third place is bronze, and they're just happy to be there because they didn't have to. So it's like I didn't even think I was going to be in any of this. So let alone 1 through 3. So I'm happy to get this at all. And there's leg room to argue. I imagine there's some people bronze who must be like upset that they were only 2 spots away. But like primarily, I mean, I imagine a lot of them aren't. Are like, hey, I got third place because I didn't have to get any place. You know what I mean? To get third is crazy. To be on this stand with these people, that's crazy. And I don't think it would be like the same thing here. Just because I actually think I don't know if like one can strategically become first because it's not like you guys are like playing. It's not well there are subjective competitions in the Olympics, much like things that would take opinions. Like if you did like let's say you're doing dances or something like that. Like it won't be like you ran faster than everybody else, which would be more of a direct thing, right? You're trying to win. Here it's like this is more a lieu of like if you were this is just a bunch of people who are just and again I'm not saying it's not strategic for her to make it somewhere in the upper layer, but to it must be. I wonder how she feels to get first place in this as far as model being a model. I mean in a way I mean like she couldn't be upset at. I wouldn't be upset at people like Riley Reid. I mean, Riley Reid is she's kind of, she is the one of the maybe the one of the last remaining porn stars. You know, I think Abella Danger is like number one. I don't even know if she's at. I don't think of anyone like the first four may not even be that active or first three. First three, I think of those are definitely porn stars. At least there's no mistake that they have backing from companies. And although everyone's effectively independent, they also have that, they have a little bit of kind of an edge. So happy for them. Where's this going? So yeah, so I'm curious about I kind of leave this with more questions because the ranking stuff on Pornhub is kind of a mystery. I'm not entirely sure. It feels if you were gonna look at somebody um, get a gimmick. It seems like get a gimmick. The quality is a huge thing in the industry. I'm rocking 480p club, so that's what I'm calling it. 480p, the 480p club. I'm calling it the 480p club. I'm broke. Anyway, but maybe who knows. But yeah, get a gimmick. It seems you definitely want to have social media platforms. Looks like you got Twitter. I think she got an OnlyFans on her official site. It's a Lincoln thing. And yeah, oh yeah, she has like TikTok, got Instagram, Twitter, so be readily available to all these different platforms. So just be super, super, super. I think being active is a huge thing too to maintain it. I don't know. See, that's what I was wondering. Is like, is she hustling so much that she remains top model, or is it like could she drop off, or from just making more content, and would she remain there? That's the questions I kind of have. But yeah, I mean, I would suggest to check out her page. I think I'm gonna do. So this is rank one. So I'm gonna go ahead and I got the second and third, so I'm gonna do 2 and 3 in the video. I just wanted to go through this and kind of go through and get a feel for this new tech, this additional tech. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, John Turbo of Black Claws Media and